let's start with the issue of schools. The debate about whether students should return to school has turned fierce, with teachers' unions, premiers and the Commonwealth each holding a different view, and parents are left in the middle of it, uncertain of the right thing to do. Teachers worry that it's not safe for them to go to work, while parents are struggling to hold down a job and homeschool their kids. The education issue is on the top of the Prime Minister's agenda. He insists children should return to school full-time as soon as possible, and he says the classroom is perfectly safe for teachers if they socially distance.
We've got people who are going to work in supermarkets every day. We've got people who are doing jobs all over the community, driving buses, and they're doing great work, and they're turning up to work to do those things. And the health advice is very clear. I mean, these things can be managed. The 1.5 metre and the 4 square metre in the classroom, that is not required based on the health advice. There are many things we don't know about this virus, but one thing we do know is what it's doing amongst children. And so that is why schools are the obvious place for us to move back to normal as quickly as possible.
Despite this, the New South Wales Health Minister Brad Hazzard and interstate governments as well insist that their governments will proceed with the plan to send children back to school just 1 day a week from May 11.
Parents have been worried about their children. And building confidence is what governments and the community should do, and I don't think it's in anybody's interest to try and drive away what is a very measured and orderly approach to allowing parents to build that confidence.
Look, underpinning the reason for the federal government's demand that children go back to school as soon as possible is they say that, firstly, medical advice says it's perfectly safe, but they also say that it's the one restriction that can be lifted that will provide the biggest uplift to the economy out of all the other restrictions. One private school in Sydney, an exclusive girls' school, Winona, is taking quite a unique approach to this issue. The Winona Girls' School says that they're asking all their students to wear a mask when Term 2 starts this week. They're also saying that children will have their temperature checked on arrival and that they should socially distance when they're at school. Winona's popular school principal is Dr. Bryony Scott. She also happens to be the wife of the New South Wales Education Department Secretary, and you might know him as the former ABC boss, Mark Scott. Now, Bryony Scott sent an email to parents, quite a detailed email or letter outlining all the measures that her school is taking on Friday afternoon. She said, at points of entry to the school campus, temperature checks will be taken and general questions asked about health. She wrote that all students must have a mask. If there is no mask, there is no class. If there is no mask, there is no play. She wrote, I appreciate the limitations of masks, handmade or otherwise, but they are a clear reminder to the students about the need to keep distance and to protect themselves. Social distancing will be expected and will be enforced to the best of our ability. She's also done 2 Instagram posts. I mean, that's the best way to connect with her students these days, where she reinforced the point and said, no masks, no play. She told students not to panic about the need to wear masks. She said they won't be surgical ones, they're for hospitals, fabric is fine. She said it's just for now when in class with teachers and out in the playground if social distancing is not happening. And she said we will review it down the track. She gave a similar comment when we contacted her this afternoon. She said that in light of the government's advice and after listening to the experts on Friday afternoon, she's going to continue to review whether it is still necessary for children to wear masks. And she made the point that the advice does change rapidly.